Headed down the shore? Skip the hassle. Let Beach Caddy handle the heavy lifting. Bellhop and beach cart rentals are available in Ocean City, Sea Isle, Avalon, Stone Harbor, and Wildwood. Use the promo code Jimbo for 10% off bellhop and cart rentals. Beach Caddy takes the stress out of your Jersey Shore trip. Go to beachcaddy.app. Use the promo code Jimbo for 10% off your move in, move out bellhop service and beach cart rentals. Best beach carts at the Jersey Shore. What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly sports history for June 17th, 2025. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Welcome to a Tuesday edition of the podcast. And I do apologize a little bit later today. And if the sound quality is a little off, I apologize for that as well. Experimenting with some new setups and things like that. And somehow it's just, I don't know. I can't get the sound to right, but we will persevere because that's what we do. And it is Tuesday. So we do have some motivation slash positivity. And Tuesday Motivation Positivity is brought to you by the Clashing Conferences. Go to theclashingconferences.com for information on how you can become a member, what they have to offer, media services, and all that. Remember, new podcasts drop for them on Thursday and Friday, wherever you get your podcasts, as well as on YouTube. And we are a part of the network, and I'm happy to be a part of the crew. All right, so today's quote comes from FM Alexander, and this is one of the last ones I've been sitting on since my professional development back in August, but I really like this. People don't decide their futures, they decide their habits, and their habits decide their futures. And I like this because it's another one of those ones that's easy to say. It's like, well, that was in the cards for me, or it was predetermined, or that's just the hand I was dealt, and whatever other things people say when things go bad or they're not getting what they want. But it's not in the cards. It's not set in stone, whatever your destiny is going to be. You have the power to change your future. And I'm not talking about making the big life changing decisions. Everybody, there's major life milestones, major life decisions throughout your life. And I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about our day to day. And I think what this quote is saying is it's how you live. You can do small things every day to impact and affect your future. And if you do those small things well, it leads to doing the bigger things well. I always go back to this story when I was looking at colleges back in high school. I went with a friend of mine to, I believe it was for Lehigh. And we went and we're talking to this guy. I had no intentions of going to Lehigh. I just kind of went with him for support. But I was talking to this guy and he was like, let me ask you a question. When something good happens to somebody, a lot of times people say what? And I was looking like, I don't know what you're talking about. They got lucky. He's like, I'm here to tell you there is no such thing as luck. You create your own luck. If you're prepared for when an opportunity comes, then people are going to say you're lucky. If you're not prepared, people are going to say you're unlucky. And I think that ties in perfectly here because if you create those good habits and do the small things well, you're setting yourself up and you have the power then to change your future. Good things happen, you create good habits, better things happen. So just something to think about that as you go through your weeks, it's not in the cards and it's not people don't decide their futures. Your habits are what decides your future. So start building good habits now. It's never too late to start and get on track. Hopefully, you can take that through your week. All right. And as a part of the new sort of rollout, like I said, coming with new setups, new everything, part of the Tuesday motivation, I'm going to try to kind of weave in some inspirational Philly athlete stories. So for this week, we're going to look for at Larry Boa for inspiration. And I didn't know this story until I started doing some of the research, but Larry Boa did not make his high school team. He was cut. He went on to play in college at Sacramento City College, and he played well, but the expectation was that, oh, maybe he'll get a look in the Major League Baseball draft. Overlooked, didn't get drafted, said he was too small, couldn't hit. And just his coach even said, man, you could be good, but you just can't hit. Ironically, then the Phillies sent out a scout. They were interested in him. And the day that the scout came out there, it was a doubleheader. Larry Bowa got thrown out of both games of a doubleheader for arguing, so it didn't make a good first impression. However, the Phillies did sign him to one of their winter league teams. Busted his ass, was able to really improve his hitting, stayed late, took extra BP, fielded ground balls, and it all paid off eventually for Larry as he was a five-time All-Star, two-time Gold Glovers in the Phillies Wall of Fame, and a World Series champion. And all of that hard work, he created those habits, like we talked about with our quote. And those habits carried over into his Major League Baseball career. And it did something that kind of got him in some trouble as manager of the Phillies because he expected all of his players to work hard like that. And when they didn't, that's when he would get mad, hence the whole Scott Rowland issue. But in the end of the day, as you go through your weeks, be a Larry Bowa. Create those strong habits and control your future with those habits. So we'll get more into the new setups and everything. But I thought that was a very cool Larry Bowa story, which I had never heard of before. We always hear about Michael Jordan getting cut from his high school team. Didn't know it happened to Larry Bowa, who became one of the Phillies' all-time greats. All right, speaking of those Phils, good solid win over the Marlins. Again, it's a bad team, but this is a team that you should be doing what you just did against them. Mick Abel was solid again, battled back, got himself out of some trouble. It was good to see him have a little adversity and how he handled that. In the second inning, had the bases loaded, was able to get out of that with some good defensive plays. Trey Turner led off the game second pitch with a homer. He's been really hitting well. I really think if he could just figure out what to do with him in the field, I don't know if it's still worth all that money, but Trey has been pretty solid this year. Kepler hit a home run, a moonshot. He hit a bomb to right. The bullpen was solid once again. I like the way Taiwan came in there and was looked good. Kirkering got his first career save, and ever since that whole fiasco earlier in the season, he's been actually pitching very well his last 18 to 20 starts or so. Bryson Stott had a hit. Hopefully, this is the momentum and the what he needed playing the Marlins to get out of his funk. But overall, solid win. Don't get caught looking ahead. However, we got three more games with the Marlins, 2 games out of first place behind the Mutts, with a huge weekend series down at Citizens Bank Park this weekend with the Mets. But we can't overlook the Fish right now. But a good win. Jesus Luzardo takes the mound tonight against his former team. Philly's looking to take the first 2 games of this series. All right, let's do some housekeeping. And thank you for your patience as we're dealing with. I'm watching my recording thing, and the sound is basically nothing. So hopefully I can extract it from this video. But thanks for the patience this summer as we're tweaking and moving some things around. Give me some feedback on the inspirational Philly athlete story that kind of ties in with our quote. Uh, Hopefully that's something we can continue to do as well. But once we get into the flow, I'm kind of changing my whole setup and everything. So if this was if we were a store, it would say "parting our dust" as we complete our construction. So thank you for your patience with that. Still, we'll have some good quality content though. Uh, be sure to like, subscribe, leave a review, whether it's on Apple or Spotify, all of those things. I'm really going to gear up and hit trying to grow and trick outsmart the algorithm. Be sure to hit me up on my social media, Jimbo_Mott on Twitter and TikTok, on Instagram at Philly Jimbo. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jimbo_Mott, and of course, spread the word. If you're looking for highlights, that is available on my social media, including Facebook and LinkedIn. So come over, check that out. And then don't forget the Discord channel. If you go to the description, it is the first link. Come over. Let's have some good quality Philly Sports Talk. All right, yesterday's trivia question. I said, who is the major league leader in home runs given up by a pitcher? That would be one Jamie Moyer, the ageless wonder, with 522 of them. The top three actually have a Philly connection, though. Robin Roberts is second with 505, and Fergie Jenkins, the former or the Hall of Fame pitcher for the Cubs, who the Phillies traded away, is third with 484. Thanks to everybody who participated and gave out their guesses for the trivia yesterday. We'll have another trivia question here later in the show. Want to show off your Philly pride without saying a word? Philly Goat has you covered. From tees, hoodies, shoes, and hats, their gear screams Philly louder than an Eagles fan at the vet. Whether you're tailgating in South Philly or trying to flex down the Jersey Shore, do it in style. Hit up phillygoat.com, use the promo code Jim Montgomery, and get 10% off your order. Philly Goat, because being Philly ain't a choice, it's a way of life. Go Birds! All right, June 17th. And we got a little bit of Phils here today. Like I said, when we go into this time of the year, pretty much it's mostly Phillies. But on this day in 1971, Mike Schmidt, who was just drafted a couple weeks prior, made his professional baseball debut in an exhibition game between the Phillies and the Double-A Reading Phillies. They weren't the fighting Reading Phillies yet. But he played for the Phillies, started at shortstop, and hit the game-winning home run. It was not supposed to stay in Reading, but ended up staying in Reading. They were going to send him down to single A ball to get ready and work his way up. But after his performance and being able to hit the game-winning home run against the Reading Phils, they decided to keep him in Reading. Didn't have a great season in Reading, but the following year tore up AAA up in Eugene. I forget what the Eugene mascot was, but he was called up late in the 72 season and then made his major league debut in 1973. He is in the Reading Baseball Hall of Fame, even though he did not have a stellar season that year in Reading. But Mike Schmidt made his pro debut in an exhibition between the Phillies and the Reading Phillies, hitting the game-winning home run for the big league club against Reading down in Reading. And then in 2012, the Phillies lost to the Blue Jays in Toronto 6-2. John Mayberry and Jim Thome both homered. For Thome, it was his 100th career home run with the Phillies. He became the fourth player in Major League Baseball history to have 100 home runs with three different teams, joining Reggie Jackson, Darrell Evans, and Alex Rodriguez. For Thome, he did it with Cleveland, the White Sox, and the Phillies. This was actually his second stint with the Phillies after being there in the early 2000s. Adrian Beltre actually joined them. So there's five players who have hit 100 home runs or more with three different teams. Jim Thome joined the list on this day in 2012. All right, that does lead us to today's trivia question, though. Kind of off the beaten path. I wasn't going to go with this one, and I read it in, excuse me, a Phillies newsletter that I get, and I thought this was interesting. So I wanted to see how many people could get close to this one. But who is the Phillies' career leader in strikeouts per 9 innings? Hit me up on any of my social media. Go to the Discord channel, Back to the Future voice and text line 267-495-8531. But who's the Phillies' career leader in strikeouts per 9 innings? Not probably who you would think. But let me know your thoughts and get your answers in for that. And then finally today, our greatest individual season in Phillies sports history. Let's recap yesterday's Flyers region matchup. Bobby Clark from 1975-76 beat Claude Giroux from 2017-18 with 79% of the vote. The Hart Trophy winner moves on, and the second round is set for the Flyers region. Let's finish up the first round here for the Sixers region, and we have a 5-12 matchup. The number 5, Wilt Chamberlain from 1966-67. He was an MVP, All-Star, All-NBA, averaged 21.1 points per game, 24.2 rebounds per game, playing 45 and a half minutes per game, shot 68% from the field, and of course led the Sixers to their first championship in Philly, and one of the greatest teams of all time, and just a dominant performance from Wilt Chamberlain, winning the MVP and leading the Sixers to the NBA championship. He's taking on the number 12 seed Dr. J from 1979-80. Dr. J was an all-star, all NBA, finished second in the MVP voting, averaged 26.9 points per game, 7.4 rebounds, 4.6 assists, 2 steals, and led the Sixers to the NBA Finals. That is the infamous, they ran into the buzzsaw that was Magic Johnson. But now it's your turn. Which season was better? Wilt Chamberlain in 1966-67, Dr. J in 79-80. Hit me up on the Discord, any of my social media, the Back to the Future voice and text line, smoke signals, whatever you got to do, get your vote in. Wilt Chamberlain in 66-67, Dr. J in 79-80. Get your vote in. Who moves on? And I also want to give a shout out to Lotwin. Get your custom 3D hype chains, Lotwin.com. Use the promo code TCCPOD. These things are phenomenal, so go check them out as well. On this day in 2012, Jim Thome becomes the fourth Major League player to hit 100 home runs with 3 different teams in the Phillies' 6-2 loss to the Blue Jays. 1971, Mike Schmidt makes his professional baseball debut in an exhibition game. And I remember they used to play the Reading Phillies all the time in a random exhibition game down in Reading. It was a cool thing. Never did get to go to one of them, but Mike Schmidt with the game-winning home run impressed the Phillies enough to have him stay in Reading instead of going down to Single A, and it probably helped accelerate his career because then he went to Eugene the next year, and then got called up at the end of the season after tearing up Triple A. But Mike Schmidt makes his professional baseball debut today. Let me know your thoughts on the new setup. Again, I apologize for the sound, but I can see it right now. I look much clearer than I ever have. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but we will have more on the Phillies tomorrow. And don't forget, as you go through your weeks, create meaningful, good habits. Do the small things well, and that's going to have a major impact on your future. Don't worry about the big things because that'll come. Be a Larry Boa. Work hard, create strong habits, and that is what's going to impact your future. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History for June 17th, 2025. My name is Jim Montgomery. Go have yourselves a Tuesday. And until next time, I'll see you when I see you.